A good move by RBI. www.cnh.com. A good move by the RBI has come out with rules to make electronic banking transactions safer. The policy for all banks is tilted to favor customers, who won't suffer any loss if unauthorized transactions are reported in 3 working days. The concept of zero liability and limited liability on any credit, debit card or online fraud will protect customers assuming they haven't given away their card account passwords to cybercriminals whose numbers are rising daily. India is now the base for many scams run from BPO-like operations. These mostly seem aimed at US citizens as their greed dictates more returns are possible in dollars. The new policy will also protect customers lured into revealing her PIN password as the liability is limited after she reports this to the bank. In all other cases of card, ATM, point of sale or online fraud, the burden of proving customer liability rests upon the banker. Zero liability kicks in when a third party breaches card, bank security, where the deficiency lies neither with the bank nor with the customer. Customers can breathe easy over being hit by embezzlement of accounts by cyber thieves who hack into banks or use cloning tricks to cause havoc. By making both the banks and their customers responsible for keeping communications lines open with SMS, emails on transactions, the RBI is trying to fortify the security of accounts further. If alerts come in real time, chances of detecting scams are higher. The clarity of the new rules show the RBI has acted in exemplary manner. It's now up to bank users to resolve never to divulge their account data to anyone. Comments. Visit website. Hamburg handshake shows the way ahead. www.cnh.com. Hamburg handshake shows the way ahead. The first positive sign in almost a month-long standoff between Indian and Chinese troops in the Doklam area at the India-China-Bhutan Tri-Junction came on Friday at an informal BRICS meeting in Hamburg where Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping have gathered for the G20 summit. It is important for both countries to build on this. For this to happen, though, it is necessary that both Beijing and New Delhi let diplomacy do the talking at a sunny register, instead of letting their defense establishments have a free hand to exploit irresponsible sections of the media to whip up a bubble of war frenzy, which is far removed from the expectations of ordinary people in both nations. China, a non-democratic state which has set up journalistic mouthpieces of its ruling Communist Party that revel in the worst kind of jingoistic propaganda, has been particularly culpable in this regard. But some Indian television channels have hardly lagged behind. In a frenzy of narrow nationalism, when these so-called newspapers in China, backed by dubious, party-line-toeing think tanks and middle-level foreign ministry bureaucrats in Beijing, tom-tom Chinese victory over India in the 1962 border skirmish, a more restrained response from the army chief and defense minister may have helped us avoid a descent into mud-bath diplomacy. But all that can be put well behind us if the Modi-Xi handshake in Hamburg is to be invested with the meaning it deserves. The Chinese leader responded with due regard to his position when Mr. Modi, in his speech, praised the momentum imparted by China to BRICS. Mr. Xi praised India's role in the fight against terrorism and made laudatory references to India's economic progress. Both leaders showed us a sample of statesmanship. Only a day earlier, the Chinese Foreign Ministry had said the time was not right for a bilateral meeting between the principals. Propaganda is known to dig its own grave. There are never any winners or losers in modern day warfare. When the deadliest weapons invented come into play, ordinary people become victims. There is no point fretting over low-grade recent Chinese propaganda over the status of Sikkim or Bhutan in relation to India. An outright war, whose consequences will hurt everyone, cannot but kindle spirits in Tibet and Xinjiang that are hostile to Beijing. So it's best not to go there. The firing of a few shots in remote mountainous terrain may temporarily puff up nationalist bluster, but finally a negotiating table will have to be the refuge. It's best for both militaries to return to the positions that prevailed a month ago. China and India have signed a treaty to maintain peace and tranquility on the undefined sections of the border. This also means no road construction. Let this be respected. Comments visit website.